I am tired of hearing people say, like Barack Obama did, like Hillary Clinton did, oh, we condemn this violence. Guess what? You can't call the President of the United States for 10 years Adolf Hitler, and you can't say that he's a fascist, and you can't say that anyone who voted for Trump or advocated for him, like you, me, Riley, and Charlie Kirk, are Nazis. And then when someone tries to kill us, you can't suddenly say, oh, we condemn. You caused it. Look at me right now. You caused it.
This Charlie Kirk thing kind of put the nail in the coffin of me being a Democrat. I was slowly moving away from it anyway because I was noticing certain things, but I'm not a Democrat, and I'm not a Republican either, but I'm not a Democrat. And I just noticed like certain things, like the way that the conversation would be shut down by calling somebody a name or calling somebody a bigot. It's like, okay, and why am I a bigot just because I disagree with you? Like, I can disagree with you and still not want anything bad for you. I just disagree. And it's like, oh, you're personally committing violence against me if you disagree. It's like, that's a cop-out. And I would notice certain things like that. I would notice that I was being intentionally angered every 4 years so that I would go out and vote. It would be a new token thing to like get behind. Oh, if you don't vote this year, this thing is gonna happen and everything's gonna be taken away. But then the next year, none of those things would happen. So I was just being gaslit every single time. And it's crazy because like I didn't recognize it, but as I started to just see it, I started to see how like it's one thing to believe in something, it's another thing to tell somebody they're bad if they don't, especially if the view is wacky, crazy, and all the way out there. Canceling somebody for something that they did when they was 8 years old, for something that they said when they was 8 years old, and that thing won't even a slur back then. It's like, what are we like do? Like, people can't grow. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's a way to keep people in control. And if you don't think exactly how I think, if you ever step in line, I can.
A firestorm has erupted around Barack Obama, and the controversy is quickly gaining intensity, with sparks flying and the debate showing no signs of slowing down.
If you believe that this country is incapable of that happening, you are living in a utopian fantasy. Him saying that it's a price to pay is not about children being. There are 50,000 car-related deaths every single year. That's the price for having cars. You want to get rid of cars and save 50,000 lives each year? Great. There's a cost to that though. In exchange for those 50,000 lives saved, you now don't have mobility to get anywhere. You don't have the access to products and services that you might want on the day-to-day basis. DoorDash, forget it. You want to go to a restaurant that's 20 minutes away in a car? See you in a few days. Okay, maybe it's not a few days. Therefore, we have decided that those 50,000 lives are a necessary cost to having those things. And not only does he provide that comparison and explanation, he provides a solution for this. He says that there can be a realistic reduction to any shootings at major league sporting events. There was one in 1984 before there was armed security at the events. There was also one in late 2023. Guess what? That was from the outside of the stadium. How have any shootings been stopped at airports? There was one in December of 2024 outside of the security.
The political world is in turmoil after a tweet from Barack Obama sparked heated debate online. While he issued a heartfelt condemnation of recent violence shaking the nation, reactions were far from unanimous, with critics accusing him of deepening divisions by tying the unrest to political rhetoric. Sensitive issue given the rawness of recent events.
Sit your ass down for this, because the only thing I hate more than repeating myself is people not coming with receipts. If you have access to the internet right now, you already know about everything that happened with Charlie Kirk, and you've probably seen the same repetitive comments over and over and over from people, quotes that he would say during his debates. Now, I'm somebody that has seen only a few of his videos over the last however many years that he's been doing this, so seeing these quotes, I was like, wow, did he actually say that? That's kind of shocking. But the thing about me is I am so indecisive that I will research the piss out of something before picking a side. So what did I do? I did exactly that. I found these quotes and I said, let me go watch the entire source that those are pulled from to know the context of them. Because also, if you have any access to the internet, you know how easily it is to be taken out of context. Hell, even the Bible is cherry-picked and taken out of context for certain things. If you're one of those people that likes to just run with the headliner, take exactly what somebody says, copy-paste it from the comment section onto a whole nother video, I'm here to help you out so you don't look stupid in the comment section. First one up is the Second Amendment quote that I'm sure you've seen under every single Charlie Kirk post that has been put out on the internet to date. People are justifying his murder because he said some gun deaths every single year are worth the cost. Yeah, I have to admit, that does sound like a pretty shocking quote initially, but that's the headliner, obviously. People want to rage bait you. Stop getting pulled into it like an idiot. You read the headliner and immediately get rage baited, you're a sheep. If you decided to scroll down and read the entire story of that quote that it's pulled from, you will see a whole lot more to it. And on top of that, to just make sure I have the full picture, not just the little snippet that the news article chose to show, I went and watched the entire 2-hour-long video where that quote is from. He starts it out by talking about having the Second Amendment is not strictly about self-defense, hunting, or having our fun gun. It is to protect ourselves from our government turning to
Obama's recent condemnation of violence has ignited fierce backlash from both sides of the aisle, sparking a torrent of criticism from political figures and everyday citizens alike, who feel betrayed and manipulated in an increasingly toxic game of political rhetoric. The controversy has evolved into a spectacle of drama impossible to ignore, dominating online debates and fueling heated conversations across social media and news outlets. Many see Obama's words not only as a response to recent unrest, but also as a reflection of how political narratives themselves have become weapons of division, shaping public opinion and deepening fractures within the nation's
solution for this. He says that there can be a realistic reduction to any shootings at major league sporting events. There was one in 1984 before there was armed security at the events. There was also one in late 2023. Guess what? That was from the outside of the stadium. How have any shootings been stopped at airports? There was one in December of 2024 outside of the security checkpoint. There was also one in 2017 where there was a very clear and unfortunate lapse in security for that event. That's what led to there being a mass shooting at that airport. Aside from that one instance, unless I'm missing some, I'm not perfect. I've only seen other instances from outside of the airport or outside of security. The way that he ends that quote is saying, if our money, sporting events, and airports can have armed guards, why don't our children? By not having armed guards protect our children from any potential risk, that is when you are choosing to sacrifice them for our right to protect ourselves against a tyrannical government, not by refusing to give up. And just to be clear, I'm always open for discussion of different opinions. What I won't be doing is arguing with the emotion and arguing with people that don't do their own research and formulate their own thoughts.
We don't feel like ourselves. We haven't felt like ourselves in a while. And I'm sorry to get political, but I'm just going to be honest. We haven't felt like ourselves since Barack Obama. I just think he was such a slick snake. You know, he was this affable guy who was like wearing good suits and looked the part and sounded the part and dressed the part, but was so divisive in his messaging. The left, they look at you like when you say this, they don't.
Political rhetoric has become both a weapon and a spectacle, shaping public opinion in ways that are as polarizing as they are powerful. And Barack Obama's recent condemnation of violence has become a case study in how language can ignite national debate. His words, intended as a call for peace, were dissected, reinterpreted, and criticized from all sides, with some praising his moral stance, while others accused him of fueling divisions and exploiting raw nerves still sensitive from recent unrest. In today's climate, every phrase from a public figure is a tightrope walk, as carefully chosen language can galvanize one audience while alienating another, leaving many Americans once firmly loyal to their political camps feeling disillusioned, manipulated, and caught between narratives that seem more designed to incite outrage than to inspire understanding. This discontent is not confined to debate stages or Twitter feeds, but reaches into family dinner tables and friendships, where conversations often turn heated, as people navigate differing perspectives in an environment where sound bites and cut-and-paste quotes dominate the narrative. The rise of this soundbite culture means that snippets of speech, stripped of nuance and blasted across headlines, become definitive proof of belief systems, reducing complex arguments into ammunition for outrage. For some, the psychological toll is heavy, as they feel stereotyped, dismissed, or even attacked simply for questioning mainstream narratives, with one woman's story of leaving her lifelong political party underscoring a broader trend of people breaking away from rigid affiliations in search of authenticity and honesty. This growing disillusionment highlights a deeper crisis, when even calls for unity are seen as divisive acts, when language itself becomes a powder keg, and when public figures are treated like chess players whose every word is weighed as a strategic move in a grand political game. Obama's statement, like so many before it, reflects how words can ripple far beyond their intent, sparking both personal reflection and public upheaval, reminding us that rhetoric isn't just performance, it shapes how communities perceive one another and how individuals defend their beliefs in an increasingly hostile climate. The larger question now is whether we can break free from the cycle of mistrust and labeling, whether the media can shift from amplifying outrage to fostering clarity, and whether Americans themselves can rise above the binary thinking to embrace dialogue with empathy rather than hostility, because at the end of the day, this is bigger than one tweet or one speech. It's about redefining how we engage with one another in a society where every word carries the weight of potential division, and where changing the narrative may require more than adjusting rhetoric. It may demand a fundamental shift in how we listen, respond, and understand one another.